it's probably harder now than ever to go to a store and try out something that you saw online. That hurts somebody that wants to hear it, or play it before they buy it. I think it hurts both. I think it hurts the buyer and the consumer and the brick and mortar. Because if you're a little old school and want to try it first, you can't always do that. You have to order it, and the brick and mortar doesn't always have it.
Right.
So you're really forced to, if you are influenced by videos, you're really forced to sometimes having to point and click and buy something.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Guitar Max channel. So this video is going to be a piece of my interview with the Tone King. In this section of the interview, we talk about the influence that YouTubers have in the overall industry and if it is ultimately a good thing or a bad thing or a mixture of both. Now we'll go ahead and get into the interview here, but real quick guys, if you enjoy content like this and you have not already subscribed, please consider subscribing right now. Okay, here's the clip from my interview with the Tone King. Okay, so another thing I've been thinking about lately, and this has to do with sort of the popularity, right, of the big YouTube channels, the guitar YouTube channels, and how much influence they have over the market and the industry and that kind of stuff. And I wonder if, in a way, well, it's a matter of opinion, but tell me what you think about this. Do you think the guitar YouTubers and the gear YouTubers, do you think they actually have too much influence, like over the market and the industry and the company? Not so much like the customers, but just the way the companies do things and that kind of stuff. And the thing I'm really thinking about is we're always talking about like, oh, the brick and mortar stores are going away, like you can't find in-person guitar stores anymore, or at least not good ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think a big part of that is because it used to be, if you wanted to try out a guitar, if you wanted to hear a guitar, hear the amp, you had to go yourself, go to a store and try it out, or at least have somebody demo it for you, salesman or something. Now, with all the stuff that's available, all the videos and stuff that's online, you can hear and check out just about anything from the comfort of your own home and then order it online.
Mm-hmm.
There are shortcomings to that, but it's so much more convenient for people. I mean, yeah, but again, just back to that question, like, do you think in a way the YouTubers almost have too much influence, or do you think it's just a net positive? You think it's just a good thing overall?
It's another great question. I'm going to answer the question, but I don't know if I'm going to answer it exactly what you asked me. So let me give this a go. I think that let's pretend I'm company X. Okay. If I'm company X and I reach out to 20 YouTubers and 20 YouTubers review my product, those YouTubers are influencing their audience, and that will result in sales. That's marketing. YouTube channels are used as marketing tools for companies, and that helps sell product, right? That's sometimes how it works. So that potentially can affect a brick and mortar store that doesn't have that. So let's say you take pedal company Z, right? If pedal company Z just sells direct, now you've just influenced, thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people to go buy, pedal Z, right? So the company wins, and potential buyers have been influenced, and they go buy that product. That's marketing. And those who market oftentimes, I think, beat those that don't. Okay. So yes, I think it can affect brick and mortar stores. The reality is a brick and mortar store can't carry everything. So there will only be they can only sell what they stock, but you could go to YouTube and listen to anything and then go find out who stocks it, right? When I was growing up, like you said, if you wanted an amplifier, you went down to the local music store and you saw what the selection was. You played a bunch of them and you bought the one you liked. But ultimately, it was based on the inventory that was available, right? We didn't ship amps around. You went to the store, bought an amp, and brought it home with you. In fact, I bought and sold a few amps in the local newspaper. So you check the want ads and what's for sale. Oh, there's an amplifier, whatever the brand is, for $250, and you call them up. Hey, can I check it out? You drive down to his house and you buy that amp, right? Today, like you said, with YouTube, you can see anything, literally anything. And then you go hunt and search where you could get that anything, right? So I think it does hurt. I think it does hurt brick and mortar to some extent, especially the smaller mom and pops, because they can't stock everything. Mm-hmm. They are only limited to what they have available on the shelf. And in a perfect world, they need to stock what people want. I think that's why places like Guitar Center, as an example, have lots of Gibsons and lots of Fenders, because people want that. They don't have a lot of off brands, because why put an off brand on a shelf when you'll sell one of those for every, let's say, 50 Fenders or 50 Gibsons that you buy? So even the bigger brick and mortars, yeah, they have stuff people want, which is smart, but the selection is very limited, because it's only limited to what most people want.
Right.
So I think it's probably harder now than ever to go to a store and try out something that you saw online. That hurts somebody that wants to hear it, or play it before they buy it. I think it hurts both. I think it hurts the buyer and the consumer and the brick and mortar. Because if you're a little old school and want to try it first, you can't always do that. You have to order it, and the brick and mortar doesn't always have it.
Right.
So you're really forced to, if you are influenced by videos, you're really forced to sometimes having to point and click and buy something and then try it. Now, luckily, a lot of places will offer, 30-day money back, right? No matter where you buy, most, Sweetwater, Guitar Center, Musician's Friend, AMS, they have generous return policies. So you can try it out in your home, but it's as good as it is now in terms of you could listen to anything online. I think it's helping both and it's hurting both. It's all perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, it does. And one thing related to that I think about is, if you remember a couple of years ago, there were all these videos that came out about Gibson is destroying guitars, right? And there was like that video of them like running over old stuff or something with a bulldozer or something. And I feel like there's a weird thing that can happen on YouTube where if somebody puts out a video that is kind of sensational, right? Mm-hmm. It'll get a lot of traction, and then people, other YouTubers see that and they're like, oh man, I should do that too. I'm going to jump on that bandwagon. Mm-hmm. And then they do the same thing, and it kind of amplifies the overall message. Mm-hmm. And so I have to be, if I'm being perfectly honest, I'm not a huge fan of Gibsons. I think there are some issues there for considering what people are paying for those guitars. But I feel like when that whole thing happened, I feel like it probably was a bit unfair, to Gibson and that kind of thing. But at the same time, because of how YouTube works, there's sort of an incentive to, mm-hmm. I don't know, to, sensationalism and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I remember, I know exactly what video you're talking about, and I agree with you. It wasn't necessarily fair to Gibson, and here's why. First of all, it wasn't Gibson's video. It was somebody with a cell phone, and right. we the truth is nobody has a clue as to what was going on there. We don't know. We weren't there, and that's the problem. Even on the news, you see the cell phone clip, and there's always someone that says, "Yeah, but you didn't see what happened beforehand," right?
Right.
We just don't know what happened, but we create these, or we think what we want to think, and then there are people that create narratives, and that's bad. That's a bad way to get your news. So, and like you said, a lot of people will take something and sensationalize it to, for the views.
Right.
I personally don't have any problems with Gibson. I, own many Gibsons. I love my Gibsons. And I don't know. I just think when things like that occur, sometimes we need to use our common sense and ask ourselves, okay, so granted, 20 YouTubers just went out and said how bad they are, but do they even know what was going on?
Right.
And so, and maybe this is just the New Yorker in me. I don't just believe something because somebody's telling me. I like to do my own research. I like to make my own opinion. I like to understand what's going on. I am, I'm not a sheep, right? Someone tells me something, I'll listen to them. I will hear them, but I also like to come to my own conclusion and my own decision. And I also like to try to understand what may have gone on there, right? But that's the problem with the internet in general, is somebody could create a narrative and there are hundreds, maybe thousands, maybe millions of people that will believe that narrative. And that goes back to the old adage of don't believe everything you read on the internet, because there's a lot of misinformation.
Yeah.
And if you just don't know the facts, then, just take it for, what it's worth. I don't know. I think that's really the only conclusion I could come to, unless you absolutely positively understand what was going on there.
Yeah. Okay, guys, so that was a clip from my interview with the Tone King. He's the guy, to me, who's kind of just like the original guitar YouTuber. He's been making videos for like 15 years. He's got over 2,500 videos. Now, I'm going to link a bunch of stuff down in the video description below, so I definitely want to encourage you to check out his channel if you haven't already. I'm sure a lot of you are already familiar with him, but even if you've seen some of his stuff in the past, I think it's worth taking another look at the stuff he's doing today. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video, and let me know in the comment section below what you think of these interview type videos. I had a really good time doing this, and I'm probably going to be doing more of these in the future. So anyway, I'd love to hear what you think about it in the comment section below. As always, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time.